Now for the next match of the team battle, Ren is taking on Nicole Reyes. Apparently this is a new guy. I don't know anything about him, so this will be interesting. Going up against Ren, who's using his Revengers again. He said he modified the deck from the last battle, so we'll see what the differences are and if they help. And that's an early critical for him. It's actually two criticals and two different checks. The drive and the damage. Death to the starter, which means if he was hoping to use that to get Sing Saber's skill off, then that's not going to happen. And Ren gets a critical this time. Royal Paladin versus Shadow Paladin, this is what it turns into, especially when it's Revengers versus Seekers. Origin Seeker Alfred, so with two counterblasts he can call out any unit he wants. Blaster Blade kills Blaster Dark. And that's a no. Yeah, that is a no pass. Even with two triggers, he'd only be at 21. Phantom Blaster Abyss into Stride. Grim Recruiter. And Nicole doesn't guard it. Nothing in the triple check for Ren. Nothing but grade 1s at least. Grim Recruiter gets out Masquerade, and then Judge Bow gets out two more grade 1s. Chooses Blackwing Swordbreaker and Full Bow Brave. A little curious as to why Ren wouldn't use that to bring out another Revenger just to make things easier for his hand for later turns, but he must have a plan. This column, I don't like when this column happens in the rear guard. It's only 15k, and Grangle only works if it hits the Vanguard. Then again, Ren just let it hit the Vanguard, so and Nicole does nothing with it. It's probably the one and only time he's gonna actually get that, and he didn't do anything with it. Ren gives up a counterblast to use that skill. Uses Blaster Dark Revenger in order to get it back. He actually could have counterblasted for Blaster Dark Revenger if he needed to. Retired Blackwing Swordbreaker for a draw trigger. That's the reason why Blackwing Swordbreaker isn't a plus in a Revenger deck, by the way. Because things like that happen a lot. Ren could be going for a potential endgame here. Depends on the triggers he gets. Speaking of which, critical trigger only gets one. Meanwhile, Nicole is getting defense. Didn't even need to use the perfect guard to defend himself against that. Decided to use it anyway. And that's just a 10k block. Using the 10k block for the first one would have only would have meant he would have gotten a 2 pass out of it. For the sake of hand preservation, he would have been better off doing that, but he chose to do other things. Margot can't be used for that skill. It has to be two Seekers. I don't think Ren realizes what happened. You have to counterblast 2 Seekers for that. That doesn't work. That doesn't actually work. And that was better the other way. Nicole seems really heavy set on having Blaster Blade in front of that Grangle. Which I say again, makes a bad column. Heal trigger goes off, which negates the which negates the third attack altogether. Also gives an unflipped counterblast to Ren in case he wants to use it for something. Strides into Medusa so we can get Cormac back to hand and call it as a rear guard. Nicole with a risky no guard. A critical could end it, and there it is. And that's the end of the match. If he had saved his perfect guard from last turn, then he could have used it here, and he might have actually survived that attack. But that's not what happened. Good games.